Hello students, welcome to computer science session. So in this particular class we will learn about function overloading. Before this function overloading, let me recall the last session few concepts, that is function as an argument. So what exactly the meaning of function as an argument? So with the member function you are defining an argument, so that process said to be function as an argument. I have told means we have declared in this manner. So public void read. Inside this parenthesis, we have declared arguments. You can have one arguments or n number of arguments, no problem. The process of declaring arguments with the member function called as function as arguments. Almost this function overloading also related with this function as argument concepts. So what exactly the definition of function overloading? Before I give the proper definition, just I will give the hint of this. So overload means many. In the programming language, same kind of functions when you are calling again and again, so that process said to be overloading. The name only indicates this is the function overloading. It means that the n number of functions or more than one functions. Here I have declared void read, right? So this kind of functions you are calling again and again, so that process is called as function overloading. So when you have more than one or more than two function names are same, so that process it will be function overloading. We'll see the definition properly, how this proper definition indicates. When two or more functions are having same name, same type, but different number of arguments, that means size, arguments or data type, called as function overloading. What exactly the meaning of this function overloading? In your program, you will have two or more functions with the same name and the same type, but the argument size are different or the argument data types are different. That process is to be function overloading. We'll see the syntax of this. Syntax, how it's supposed to be. How we are declaring the functions, member functions, inside the access specifier only. Directly write access specifier. Access specifiers, right? Colon. Here member function. Here member function argument list, semicolon. Or you can declare public void read argument 1. Here just I will take argument 1 only, semicolon. Next one more function I will call same name, void read, but argument size are different. Argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. Next void read argument 4, argument 5, argument 6. So you can have n number of functions like this. You can have n number of functions. So what exactly the definition? In your program, when you have two or more functions, here how many member functions I have called? Total 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The name of the functions are read, read, read. When the two or more functions are having same name, same type, but different number of arguments. With the first member function, how many arguments I have defined? 1. With the second member function, how many arguments I have defined? 2. With the third member function, how many arguments I have defined? 3. Suppose you may ask, sir, can we have same number of arguments inside these functions? Yes, you can have, but the data type supposed to be different. We'll see that one also. This is the syntax. Please note down. We'll see the example. We'll see the one normal example, then we'll come to know about that. Void inside the public. Void, this is the example which I am giving. Example, void read. Here I will declare int a. Semicolon. One more example I will take. Void read. Here I will take int b, int c. Next, one more function name void read, but here I will take float d, int e. So how many member functions I have called? Total 3 member functions. With the first function, how many arguments I have passed? 1 argument. That is int a. In the second member function, how many arguments I have passed? Total 2. That is int b and int c. In the third member function, again, how many arguments I have passed? Only 2. But the difference is that size may be different. Here also 2, here also 2. But compiler should not get an ambiguity while passing its value. Then data types of the argument supposed to be different. Here I have called int, then you have called float. If both are int, then compiler will get confused to pass while passing its value. So for that reason only, the last point what we have written, different number of arguments, that is size or data type. Out of these two, one supposed to be there. Then only compiler, without any ambiguity, it will pass its value to the respected member functions. So that is the procedure. We'll see our programming example. We'll see the programming example. Whatever the programming examples I am giving in these sessions, please try to execute those programs so that you will understand. First, I will take the name of the class called as CS. The name of the class is CS. Here I will declare our variables int A, B, C. Okay. One more variable I will take D. So total 4 variable. With the member function, this is the normal example which I am giving to you all. Public, the function name I will take void read. Void read. Here I will declare one argument called as K. Int K. Open the flower bracket. A equals to K. Then I will close. Here void read, because when you are explaining about function overloading concept, the name of the function supposed to be same. Here I will take int m, int n. So that value will be initialized to m, c value will be initialized to n. Close this. One more member functions void read. Here I will take int h. Int h. Here d value equals h. Close the function. Close the class. So before this, even you can print the value inside this member function also, no problem. Directly I will write d into d here. Close the function. And the value will be printed void display. Open the flower bracket. This value I will take cout a plus a. Close this. Here one more void display 1 function name I will take. Here I will write cout b into c. Close this, close the class. Close this, close the class. So in the last many session I have told, in a single program you can have n number of member functions. So for that reason, just I have tried with one example. how many member functions I have called? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for that reason, you can have n number of functions in your program, no problem. So which concept you are defining in this particular session? A function overloading. Are you defined a function overloading concept? Are you called a function overloading concept here? Yes, you have called here. So what exactly the meaning of function overloading? You will have more than one functions. The name of that functions is supposed to be same. First function name, what is that? Void read. Second function name, void read. Third function name, void read. So how many functions you have called? Total 5. Out of that, 3 function names are same. So that is the procedure. When in your program, when you have 2 or more functions are same with the same name, arguments must be different, then the program will be called as function overloading. When two or more functions are having same name, same type but different number of arguments, called as function overloading. See, void read with argument called as k of what type? Integer. Second, we have called void read with the 2 different argument, then the size are different, so no problem. But at last, just only have changed with the int, right? Void read. Before it was int, now I have made changes with float. Why? Because when you have one argument, already you have defined with the one argument, but data type was int. Here it should not be int. Here it's supposed to be the other data type. For that reason, I have taken as a float. And inside the function overloading itself, you can display the value. Here I have displayed. And the remaining 2 functions just normally I have called to print the first value and the second value. You may ask, sir, can we call this particular cout statement inside this also? Cout a plus a. Can we write like this? Yes, you can write. If you want, you can display the value of this particular a inside that function itself. Or if you want to define separately, then you are supposed to call like this. One more time I will tell. Just before I was initialized a value with the k. Then the value of a I have printed in another member function. Can we execute the particular value of a in the same member function where we have initialized? Mean yes, you can execute, you can call this particular member function here, no problem. Okay, just try with the 2 different methods so that you will get idea. In this example, I want to display it separately only. So why? Because whatever the next concept coming, that almost related with this particular thing, so that you will not get confused. To avoid that next class confusion, just I am declaring here. Then after defining n number of or more than 2 function names are same, here you have displayed. To execute this particular program, you need to call main block, that is void main, open the flower bracket. How you are going to execute the program? Before executing, you need to create the reference object, creation of reference object, the name of the class and the function name. What's the name of first reference object? BH. What's the name of first function? Read. How many arguments? 1. So 1 value I am passing here. Second function name, what is that? BH dot. Again a read. But how many arguments here? 2 arguments. So you are supposed to pass how many value? 2 value. 10, 20. In the third, BH dot function name is read. How many arguments you have passed? 1. But here it is integer type, here it is float type. I will take float value 5.0, something like that. Then 2 more member functions, call those things also. BH dot disp. You can have any name. No argument, no value. If you define any argument, then you are supposed to pass the value. So here again one more function name called as bh.disp1 gets bh, close the program. When the compiler comes to here, compiler when comes here, it will create the memory block. It will go to the main block. When compiler comes to a particular block, compiler will create the memory block for the class. Compiler will create the memory block for class. The first bh.read, when you specified this one bh.read, compiler will comes to here. Okay. So in that read, compiler will pass the value of 10 will be passed to the k, and that value will be initialized a equals to 10. There is no cout statement, so it will not print anything. Next, another member function called as bh.read. Again, compiler will comes to here only. But the thing is that how many values you have passed? 2 values. Here, how many argument? 1. So it will skip this and it will comes to here. So there, young value will be called as 10, young value will be called as 20. Okay. So that time B value becomes 10, C value becomes 20. When compiler comes to the third line, again it will go back to the read statement. There you have passed 5.0. Here it is an integer. It may take, but already we have initialized, so it will skip and it will comes to here, and the D value becomes 5.0. Next, bh.display, when the compiler comes to here. When the compiler comes to here, there you have specified cout lesser than a plus a. What's the value of a plus a? A value is 5, right? 5. Sorry, a value is 10. So 10 plus 10, how much? 20. So that 20 will be printed here. Okay. Next, compiler comes to here. Sorry, before that I forgot the cout d into d. Before this 20, this value will be printed. What do you have specified? D into d. 5.0 into 5.0, the value will be printed. Okay. Next, the value of, after printing the value of d, the value of a will be printed. Then value of b into c will be printed. This is the first output. This is second output. This is third output. Okay, please try to execute this program so that you'll come to know how this function overloading will work. Okay, one more simple. You may ask, sir, can we execute this cout? Please remember, these are the 2 points which I am telling now. Inside the function overloading concept, first point you are supposed to remember, all the function names, at least minimum 2 or more than 2 function names supposed to be same. Then only its compiler will understand that these functions are belongs to the function overloading concept. So this is very important point. Minimum 2 or more than 2 function names supposed to be same. Second point, when you call the same function name, you try to define the arguments. When you define the arguments, either you just keep in your mind, either size of the argument supposed to be different, or if you have the argument size are same, then data type supposed to be different. So that means the size of the argument means in the first function you have declared first argument or one argument. In the second function you are supposed to have 2 or more than 2, so that should give the direct difference to avoid the ambiguity. Suppose if you want to have the same size, and here also one argument, here also one argument, then please be remember the data types of those arguments supposed to be different. Okay, please try to execute this program. So when you execute this program, you will come to know that how the compiler will execute independently each and every functions. And one more thing you remember, inside the main block, when you are passing this kind of values, these things is called as dynamic allocations. This is called as dynamic allocations. Okay, please go through with this particular thing so that you will get the idea. So in the exam, this question will be asked for 5 marks. Even they may ask, what are the uses or need of the function overloading? First point, you are supposed to write the definition. How exactly this function overloading indicate? You are supposed to write the definition also. So what is that definition? See, when the two or more functions are having the same name, same type, with different number of arguments, second point you are supposed to write the flow of execution of the program. The flow of execution of the program is very easy as compared other program. Why? Because the based on the function call itself, each and every member functions are executing. Based on the function call, each and every member functions are executing. Third point, very easy to debug, means compile and the execution. Compilation and execution is very easy. Why? Because directly we are passing the values to the member functions, so that become very easy for the programmer to execute. And the most important, it avoids the ambiguity. It avoids the ambiguity when you are executing the program. Please have a look at this program for 2 minutes. I'll come with one more program in this session itself. I'll be here only. Please make a note of this particular program. Hello students, can we write one more program without a normal member function? We'll try with directly this method only, so that we will you may not have any doubt. Just I will call the direct member functions itself.